Hey, what's up guys? In today's video, we are going to be learning about the robot JavaScript SDK. So this question was asked to me by a student in my complete RPA bootcamp, and he asked me if I can show him how to set this up. So hopefully this helps him and anyone else who's interested in learning about the robot JavaScript SDK. So basically what this is this is a way to trigger any one of your bots, any one of your processes through a web application. So previously, the way you would trigger a process would be through UiPath orchestrator, where you'd come here and you'd like start a job, or you'd come here to jobs and you'd click start, you'd choose your process and you'd run it. The other way is using UiPath assistance over here, where you can select your process and click the run button. There is other options, like you could schedule them in orchestrator and whatnot, but in today's video we are going to learn how to basically add a button onto your own website, and this could be any website you develop that is public facing, and you'll then be able to click a button and trigger your process. So there is a series of steps we need to follow to do this. We have 6 steps to basically set this up. So first, you're going to need Node.js installed. All right, so that's Node.js over here. So you can simply just download Node.js. Node.js is used to run JavaScript. All right, so you can just choose your operating system, most likely Windows. Click this button and it will then install on your machine. Just follow the prompt and you'll then have Node.js. You'll also get a Node.js little app over here. All right, but we won't be using this in this video. We will be using the command prompt. So I'll close that. Once you've got this installed, we can move on to step 2, all right, which is to open the command prompt. So I'm going to just open the command prompt like so, all right, and this will be set your default C users and then your user folder. But what you want to do is we need to reroute this to the folder where our robot application is going to be hosted. So they give us an example. UiPath give us an example over here. So this is called boilerplate sample. So this is what we're going to be downloading and setting up just as an example, and then I'll also show you how to tweak it for your own website. So here we have boilerplate, a straightforward sample that contains a workflow and web page that interact with it. Right, so that's basically a UiPath bot, and we also have a web page with some JavaScript and HTML which we are going to be interacting with. So I'm going to click this download button, and then it should download over here a zip file. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to just go paste it into another folder. Let's say users, my user, let's go to documents, UiPath, and then I'll paste this in over here. So note this is a zip file, so you're going to need to unzip it. So I'll right click and I'll say go to 7-zip and I'll say extract here. Okay, here it is, RobotJS-Sample. So we open this up and let's see what we've got. We've got 3 folders. All right, we have our scripts. So this is our app.js. So this is our main JavaScript file, which contains the backend code for our web application. Then we have our UiPath robot JavaScript file. All right, we won't be needing to change anything here. We will just be using this. Okay, then we have our workflow. So this is basically our UiPath workflow, the main XAML file. Then we have over here the index HTML page. So let's just double click and open this up, see what it looks like. So note that this isn't currently online. This is the root to the file on my C drive. All right, that's very important to note. So this isn't currently a website. We still need to set this up to be hosted on our local host 3000, but we'll get to that later in this video. So you can see here we have a few inputs like the name, surname, age, subscription drop down, and then you click run sample process. And over here is a list of processes which you can see it's not showing. So what we need to do is we need to connect this to our local host, connect this to orchestrator, and we need to make this work. All right, so let's get into that. So I'm going to close this, and let's come here to see our next step. So now that we have our folder, we want to get the path of this folder. All right, so you can simply just see where it's saved. Make sure you save it in a C drive and not in a D drive or anything like that, or else it won't work. Right, so take your C drive path, okay, including the name of the folder, which is RobotJS-Sample, and you want to copy that, right? And then you want to open your command prompt, and then you want to type in cd space and then Control V to paste in that path, and then we want to click enter. And now you'll see that we are referencing this specific folder. All right, so now the actions we run in this command prompt are going to be applied to this folder. So the next step we want to take is you want to come here and you want to run the lite-server NMP. All right, so this is basically a package which allows us to connect to our local host 3000 over here. So currently, if we go to this localhost 3000, I just want to show you that nothing is going to happen. Localhost 3000. You can see it says this site can't be reached, and we'll say the same on your side if you're following along. However, what you want to do is you want to make sure you install lite-server. So you want to use this. This can be found in the documentation over here. So there's all this documentation over here for the UiPath Robot JavaScript SDK, right? And you can follow along here, but the problem is there is some errors within this documentation. It's a bit outdated. So what I'm going to be showing you in this video is a working version of this. All right, so this is where I got that NMP install. Right, you could also install it using Python, but I'm just going to be using NMP install. Right, so we can copy that, Control C, come here, Control V, and click enter. Okay, and now we can just wait for this to run. Note that you can only use this NMP install if you've installed Node.js. All right, there's a NMP package which needs to be installed, but that comes default. It comes installed together when you install Node.js through this link. So it's all inclusive. So anyway, let's see how this is doing. Okay, it's busy installing. There you go, that's done. And now what we want to do is we want to do the next step, and the next step is type lite-server into the command prompt. So I'm going to click Control V, lite-server, and click enter. And now it should then open up this pop-up where it's going to basically connect your UiPath Assistant on your current machine to your local host. So it says localhost wants to open the application. You must make sure you click open your UiPath robot. Right, it should give us a little pop-up here. There it is. And now we just need to make sure those codes match, which they will, and you click allow. There you go. So here it opens up our localhost 3000. All right. So and as you can see now, it is showing this, but it's no longer referencing the file on our computer. It's actually locally hosted on a website, but this is only available to us. So this localhost 3000, if you don't know what it is, it's basically just a website for development, which is only hosted on your own personal computer. So it's not publicly available, it's only available to you. But this is just used for development. Later on, for public applications, you're then connected to a domain or a URL. But for development and testing, you just use localhost 3000. Cool. So now that we are here, we want to basically make sure that our process list here is showing. But you'll notice that it is not showing. All right, and the reason for this is because there is some error in the code. All right, so if I come here and we come to index, you want to right click on your index file, your HTML, and go open with, and then just use any code editor. I've got Visual Studio Code installed on my machine. If you don't have that, you can just simply install Visual Studio Code from Google. Okay, and here we are. So now there is an issue over here in this script over here. This is an outdated source over here. All right, so if we come here to the latest documentation. Just going to scroll down here by CDN. Okay, this is the latest version. All right, so we actually want to use this. So I'm going to Control C, and I'm going to come here to our code, and I'm going to paste that in. Okay, and now I'm just going to comment this out. Like so. Okay, so I just commented this line out, so it's basically like it's not there, and I added this code in. Okay, so now this is the latest version. I see there's this extra / over there that isn't over here, so I have a feeling I should delete that. Let's just test. Maybe I'll just save this. Okay, and now let's go see if this is working. So let's come to our local host 300, reload. There it is. Okay, it's working. That's great. So you can see now the process list is showing. This is good so far. Now you can see there's these actions here where you can process or you can invoke a workflow, which basically means you can run it, okay, or run a process. Now this is these details here. This is all connected to our sample application that we downloaded, which is this boilerplate, which is this workflow over here. But we haven't yet published this to orchestrator, so we're going to need to do that. But before that, I just want to show you if I just run one of these processes. Where is it? Here it is. So let's say, I don't know, currency converter. Okay. The thing is, this usually requires inputs. Okay, like the same way here, you can add inputs. You can see here in assistant currency converter, you can add in a from currency pair and a to currency pair, and then it basically, when you click run, it will go run the bot and it will convert it. So I'm just going to show you. I'm just going to click invoke. So if we run this, it's going to try convert. You see it just says USD to Great British Pounds, but that's fine. I just wanted to demo that we have now triggered a process from a website, all right, using this invoke button. Cool. So in terms of connecting those different inputs, we would do that as they've connected it here. So this is all custom code with JavaScript and HTML that has already been set up in the sample. So we'll be using that as our example. So currently we don't have our process over here, so we're going to have to publish it to orchestrator. So here I am, I'm currently logged into orchestrator. So let's go to our main XAML workflow that we just downloaded, and I am going to publish this to orchestrator. Okay, here we are. So let's just have a look what this workflow does. So it looks like there's a full name argument art. All right, so this basically generates a full name from 2 arguments which go in, and those arguments are the first name and the surname. All right, and then also there's a Boolean argument which goes in, which is just a true or false. All right, and then let's see, age arg out. All right, this is the argument that goes out. All right, and that, so basically the output age is equal to the input age. Very simple. And then assign the same thing. The output Boolean is equal to the input Boolean. So here we have all our arguments. We have these ones set in direction in. So those are the ones which we pass into the workflow, and out are the arguments which come as the output after they've been processed through this workflow. So in this case, it just combines, it concatenates the first name and the last name. Right, so very simple workflow, all right, but the main purpose of this is just to demonstrate how to connect everything, not necessarily like build a cool bot or anything like that. So I'm going to click publish over here. All right, and now the package name is called browser embedding sample. Cool. I'm just going to click next. Can publish to orchestrator, yes, next, and I'm going to click publish. Browser embedded sample. Cool, that's the name. So now let's come here to UiPath orchestrator, and let's go to our processes, and let's now add a new process. Add process. So our package is our browser embedding sample. That's the one we just created now. And we need to assign it to an environment. So I'm going to I have two environments. I have my standard environment, which is this PC over here. And then I also have a remote desktop environment, which is this over here. This is my remote desktop where I run other processes. So for now, I'm just going to set it to our standard environment. Okay. Entry point is the main XAML file. Here we have all our arguments. I'm not going to set any default. I'll just leave that as is. I'll click next. Okay. What's this? Package version contains no requirements. Cool. Next. So if left empty, it's going to basically assign this as the default name. So I'll just leave it blank so it gives it that name. Description. I'm just going to say testing robot JavaScript robot SDK. Okay. And then I'm going to click create. So there we have our browser embedding sample standard environment. There it is. Cool. So that's done. Now let's come back over here and see if it is now showing. Okay, it's not showing. Let's try click this refresh robot process. There it is. Browser embedding sample standard environment. Awesome. Okay, so let's click or let's try here now add some stuff like, let's say name, first name Leon, surname Petrou, age 27, subscription, let's say false, and click run sample process. See if this works. This does not seem to be working. Let's click invoke over here. See what happens. Completed. Okay, now let's click run sample process. Okay, it looks like there's an issue here. There's definitely a problem going on. I'm just going to close this XAML file just in case it's having issues with that. Let's see. It says, so it looks like it ran, but we want it to run here where it isn't working. So let's just click refresh. Just going to put some random stuff here. Run. Oh, look, it looks like it's doing something now. Oh, there you go. Now it's working. Cool. There you go. And there's our output. So let's just run this again. I'm going to say Leon, Petrou, age, let's say 27, subscription false, run sample process. Now it's running, and there we have it. Process output, full name, Leon Petrou. It concatenated them just like it was set up in the XAML file. Age 27, and subscription is false. There you go. So now it is working just as we expected. Just a few notes, all right? Things that you should be aware of. This command prompt needs to be open the whole time while you're running this. So if I close this command prompt, this localhost will no longer be active, and we won't be able to see anything here. So yeah, that's just important. At least we had this all set up and working. Now, if you want to say tweak this for a different workflow, let me just show you where you would make these changes. So you'd come here into your Visual Code Editor, and we have our index here. And let's just go also open our JavaScript. So here we have our app.js, all right? And this is basically most of the like backend stuff. And then we have index.html, and this is basically the front end stuff. So let me show you, for example. So here we have name, surname, age, subscription. That is connected to here, name, surname, age, subscription. So if we like change here where it says surname, let's say we want to change it to last name, we'd come here and we'd change surname to last name. And once you've made the change, you just need to come here, file, save, and then we come back here. And you can see now it has changed to last name. So that's great. That's how you make the changes. Then the way you connect your arguments, we have our arguments. So we can see like the names of the arguments is name arg in, full name arg out, surname arg in, etc. Right? So if we come here, if we come to our app.js, we can see here we have age arg in, name arg in, surname arg in, etc. So these are basically the exact case sensitive names of our arguments, all right? And then we are assigning them an element ID. So this is the element IDs that were assigned: example input age, example input name, example input surname, and example input boolean. Then these IDs are what's referenced in the HTML over here. So you can see here name, and then the input is the example input name. So that's how it assigns it to the name. So whatever input that the user puts in over here, it's going to assign it to the input arguments inside of our arguments over here inside of UiPath Studio. All right, and then the output is basically the same thing, but let's see where the output is. I think it's over here in this app.js. So over here, this is where we show the outputs. So this is how you reference the output variable, process results dot, and then you put the name of your output variable, and then it'll display it. So here we just have some HTML, and this HTML shows, I'm just going to just AABB1 true. Just going to run this quickly just to show you. So this output over here is being displayed by this line of code over here. Right. So that's how you reference the output arguments. The input arguments, you reference them like this. So basically all you need to do is, if you're using this for a different workflow and not the sample, you can basically just copy paste this code and just find and replace the arguments. So let's say, for example, we have, let's say over here, let's say our argument name is something else for age arg in, right? Age arg in. Let's say we over here it's called something like my age are in, my age arg in, like let's say something like that, right? Then what we would do is you just come change the code. So you just do control find, and we can click this little arrow for find and replace, and we want to replace age arg in to my age arg in, just like this, and click enter. You can see it just changed everything everywhere into the new name. But I'm not going to make these changes now. That's just to show you basically how you can just quickly change the arguments. And then another important note, you're going to need to change this name here to basically reference the name of your process. So browser embedding sample, okay, if we come to UiPath, our process name includes the name browser embedding sample. All right, and then that's how it's able to connect. So make sure that you just change the name over here to the process that you're referencing on your web page. So that's basically it. I hope that was helpful to show you how to connect your UiPath process to a web application. I'll provide all the resources of this video into a Google Drive folder for you to download. So if you want that, you can just click the link in the bio. Thank you guys for watching. And if this video was helpful, please do subscribe to my channel and like this video. And yeah, if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments and I'll answer you there. Thanks for watching, and cheers for now.